A radical property tax reform bill has undergone significant changes. It could be years before some of Wyoming's wind energy projects are connected to the electric grid. And how would you like your wolf meat prepared? Several Wyoming chefs weigh in. We'll take a look at these stories and more today from Wyoming's largest news organization. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily. The monumental property tax bill proposed during this legislative session has undergone some significant changes. Cowboy State Daily's Leah Wolfson reports that several amendments have dropped the proposal that 97% of homeowners would pay no property taxes.
The bill was significantly softened on Monday so that the $1 million exemption was reduced to $200,000, which would substantially reduce the amount of people who have all of their property taxes cut. And then they also reduced the sales tax increase from 2% to 1%. The combination of those two changes passed on a 34 to 27 vote.
According to these changes, the new tax rules would begin in 2025 and sunset after 2 years. Billions of dollars in wind energy developments are coming to Wyoming, but predicting a time when they could be connected to the electric grid is much more difficult, according to energy reporter Pat Mayo.
They're ranging from everything from delays being caused by, environmental litigation, concerns about destroying historic landmarks, scarring grasslands, et cetera, et cetera. And there's at least one case where the rail tie wind project in Albany County is getting delayed a couple more months because somebody has challenged their financial adequacy.
These wind projects are in various stages of planning, with some already under construction. In the next few years, the U.S. Department of Energy's wind exchange platform envisions a 144% jump in the number of generating turbines over current levels in Wyoming. A proposed Wyoming law requiring schools to notify parents about changes in students' health and emotional well-being cleared its first House committee vote 6-3 on Monday and now advances to a debate on the House floor. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that the Parental Rights in Education Act would also provide a way for aggrieved parents to lodge complaints with the school district, then the Board of Education, then a court of law if necessary.
There was a lot of talk about, the language of this bill is so broad that nurses might get in trouble if they don't identify every health condition for which they're treating kids. And do we really have to let everyone know every time we do a dyslexia screening? So there was a lot of talk about breadth of the bill, and there were 3 amendments proposed that the House can and may ratify in its upcoming vote on the bill.
There were others, including a mother of 4 and a former teacher, who testified in favor of the bill, saying schools have gone too far in keeping secrets from parents. I'll be back with more news right after this.
Nominate a Wyoming Unsung Hero for the 2024 Jefferson Awards by Serve Wyoming. Celebrate those who put others first and uplift their communities. Deadline for nominations is February 29th. Honor the best in our state across 7 categories. Join us in recognizing the hope, persistence, and passion that define the Jefferson Award's 50-year legacy. Call 307-234-3428 to nominate an outstanding volunteer and be part of the spirit of service in Wyoming.
With the Wyoming House and Senate versions of the state's biennial budget about $1 billion apart, some lawmakers in the House Appropriations Committee Monday are already contemplating a special session to hammer it out. Political reporter Leah Wolfson says such a move would be unusual with 2 weeks to go in the session.
Stubbornness on both sides could very easily lead to a special session when the divide in the House is already well documented. Things could get really messy here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have to see what that looks like.
A handful of legislators told Cowboy State Daily they couldn't remember a time when the House and Senate were so far apart with their budgets at this stage of the process. And hunting wolves in Wyoming and the surrounding region has been a controversial subject, but nobody seemed to be asking the obvious. What if somebody shoots a wolf and wants to eat it? Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines posed that question to a number of chefs in Wyoming who had some colorful replies.
One suggested maybe taking some of the backstrap and trying chicken fried steaks, he said would probably be the best way to do it. Another said probably slow cooking it with a lot of seasonings. And another one I talked to said, just cover it in cow manure, bake it until it forms a hard shell, remove the cow manure, throw the wolf away and eat the manure.
Rick Schuyler, owner of the renowned Pokey's Barbecue in Gillette, said the taste of the meat could depend on the wolf's diet. His rule, if it stinks, don't eat it. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the subscribe button on CowboyStateDaily.com. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.